Kalani, what do you hope to accomplish in the 15th spring camp practices this year?
Yeah, I want to compete. We have a lot of position battles to go through, and I don't know if we're gonna have any decisions made by the end of spring, but I'd like to kind of get close to it. I think we have to utilize spring ball, the 15 practices that we have, and then also fall camp. And so there's some that may already show itself, and I just like to go into spring thinking that everyone has a chance to start, and maybe a few of them the battles will already have settled by the time we hit mid-spring, but I don't know how close it will get. And I'm talking about the quarterback. I know that's what all you guys are thinking about first, but we'll see how that works. But I think a little bit different than the springs before. I think the last spring we probably had, I can't remember how many. Do you remember, Brett, how many we had done before everything had to shut down?
We got
5?
5.
Yeah, and so even last year's emphasis in spring ball is a little bit different than what we're doing this year. This year we've done some things way differently than we had last year, and we have to, because I want to be able to keep pushing and keep building on what we already got done, and the depth and the experience that we have, and then also the newcomers that are coming in, giving them an opportunity to perform. So really, probably a little bit more 11-on-11 football than what we've seen in past.
Are there any notable guys that had surgery or whatever that won't participate? Guys?
Maybe next week I'll let you know. Yeah, because I think there's a chance that everyone will participate. I think for the most part everyone will be involved with spring ball, and maybe have to be modified to how much they can participate.
All right, let's go with Jared Lloyd, Pat Kinahan, and Mitch Harper.
Bonnie, I was curious about doing things differently. You're coming off a very successful season. What are you doing can you be more specific as far as how you're addressing spring camp differently than you did in the past?
Well, I think maybe our approach to the weight room is a little different. We tested last week, and the numbers are really, really good. And so we changed up our workout regimen than last year's, and I think we're doing things a little bit, a little bit more specialized, and I think we know where to push and who needs to get big strength gains. I mean, there's guys that are really, really strong, and that I don't know how much more you can get them as far as their strength going. You can probably look at flexibility and other things to help them increase their stability in the sport, and probably more related to their position. So trying to include a lot of the sports science into our workout regimen.
Do you anticipate looking at scheme changes or adaptations? I know there's been some coaching staff adjustments. Are you looking at doing much of that this spring?
I think we're looking at establishing a foundation first. I think you can have a few, some tweaks and some adjustments in the scheme, and whether it's offense or defense, but I think for the most part we have to work on the fundamentals of football first, establish our identity, our foundation on what we want to get done as an offense and defense, and then we can kind of tweak it to the talent that's on the field and utilizing the skill set that we're going to see on the field. But I think for the most part, I mean, I don't want to make statements. We're going to try to do whatever we can to score as many points we can on offense and stop them on defense.
My turn. Question?
Yeah, I do. Thanks. As far as the quarterbacks go, do you need an opportunity to evaluate all 4 into the fall, or do you think you can pare it down a little bit in spring?
I think we could pare it down, but I'm not sure. I mean, that's hard to do, to give that many reps to 4 guys, and I think we're going to try to do it at the beginning, and that's why I said because we have 4 guys that we think can play and can help us win games. We're going to have to do a little bit more than just Skelly to see which quarterback can throw. We're going to have to see guys in the element and make things really, really difficult to see how they can function. It's like in basketball, you can't choose a point guard if you're just going to play half court basketball or 3-on-3. So you got to be able to see who can break the press and who can, dish the ball out and create assists and create penetration and dish the ball. I'm talking like this because my Jazz just kicked butt last night, so really excited about all the three-pointers that we're making. So whatever we can do to be innovative, like Quinn Snyder's doing with the Jazz, we're going to try to do here. But it's got to be built around the foundation of the fundamentals of offense and defense. And if there's a way to do it, PK, we're going to try to get as many opportunities for those four quarterbacks to show themselves in a game-type situation. And that's just what we have to do now. And if it gets narrowed down a little bit more towards the end of spring, I just don't know if we're going to have a decision by the end of spring. I don't think it's fair to say that right now. And we don't have to rush it right now.
Thanks.
Kalani, which players will be competing at new positions this spring?
Everybody's competing. I mean, that every position's up for grabs right now. So that's just I mean specifically I don't know if I can. If you name a position, I'll probably tell you. I can tell you who the guys are, but it's hard to keep. I mean, I'm just telling you guys, we have a group of walk-ons that just came in this January that are really, really good, and I mean they're really good, and they're big boys and the strength numbers that we just seen from our testing this last week. I'm really excited to see these guys get out and compete. The returning players mixed in with the newcomers, and then we have a few guys that are coming off their mission still that we're really excited about. So, yeah, there's a lot of. I don't know if all the battles, the depth chart is going to be solidified by the end of spring. I think you can probably look at a few guys and say who's going to be in the two deep, but it's exciting when guys have to compete and have to fight for their spot or trying to take someone else's spot.
What specific areas did the testing entail that you mentioned with the strength and conditioning staff?
Well, I think for us is like the overall strength as a team is definitely higher, and really impressive to see our guys get stronger during the season, and then build off of that in the 2 months work that we've had since they started school. So I think that from what we've lost already, and the guys that are going on to the league. That there's a lot of strength that we lost there, but I feel a lot better about the progress that we're making with the numbers that we just saw. So we're not that far off.
Jared, I think we're to you.
Kalani, as you look at what you were able to accomplish last year, a lot of there's been some who have written it off, saying, okay, that was a 1-year thing. You just touched on the fact that you feel like this team's prepared to continue that success. What has to happen in these practices for that mentality to maintain and to shoot for that same level of success that you had last season?
Well, I'm not worried about the end result right now. I'm worried about trying to get everyone to be at their best, and so every player to perform at their best every day, and then for us to be the best we possibly can when we open up against Arizona. And I can't tell you what our record's going to be, but I can tell you that if we can accomplish a lot of things and progress as a program between now and August for fall camp, I think we have a really good chance. Just to repeat what my mentor Lavelle Edwards say, we have a good chance. So we'll see what happens, but I like the way that our guys are built. I like the way that they're functioning, and I like the way that they're carrying on. It's the the ability for them to stay hungry. It's nice to see, and we lost a lot of production, but we also had a lot of we probably played more games than a lot of the other teams that have played college football in 2020. So. I'm just excited for the new guys and opportunities that they have, and then really, really excited that we're starting football next Monday.
Let's go with Hunter Miller, and then back to Jay, and then Mitch.
Hey, Kalani, I just had a question about the safety position. You lose Troy and Zane to the NFL draft. Now you got to replace both of those guys. Who do you expect on this roster to compete for starting spots, and do you expect any cornerbacks to possibly make a position change?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna be able to see a lot of guys at different positions, and I think we feel good about Chaz is going to be back and healthy, and Malik Moore did some really good things towards the end of the season. We saw a lot of guys step up, and so the room is full. There's a lot of guys there, and some of them been hurt. Like Ammon Hanneman did not have an opportunity to really show what he can do. And I know I'm leaving a bunch of guys out, but there's a lot. That room is full of a lot of players that can play. Hayden Livingston, a lot of guys that have experience, and a good number of guys that are new. So we have some return missionaries that are back and looking good too. So those guys are going to all need this. They're going to need the 15 practices, and we'll figure it out. We'll have the best out there playing, and if we have to move positions to get the best 11, then we'll do that. If we have to change schemes, we can do a lot of different things with our front and with our scheme to go from a 4-3 to a 4-2-5 to a 3-3 to a 3-4. We can do all that stuff. So I think the key is to see who the best 11 are and then devise a plan that can match up against what we're going to see from Arizona.
And then there's been a recent push by Billy Nixon to kind of emphasize player experience. Have you noticed a new kind of buzz around the program as Billy and his team tend to push that into the focus?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about it. I want all our guys to feel that they have the autonomy to maximize their job and their responsibilities. And so anytime I have recruiting or equipment or operations or a position coach, a coordinator, whoever it is, I want them to feel like they can, to feel innovative and find ways to take care of our players. And when you're talking about our boys or about our team and our players, then you're going to get my interest right away and you're going to gain my support. And so having guys like Billy and others around us, I mean, I'm surrounded by really, really wonderful people that know how to do their job and are amazing at it. And it's been awesome to watch them function. And it doesn't matter whether in administration or all the different areas that they work in. They're amazing. You guys have been around Brett for a long time. I've been around him. I love working with him. So you can see all the people that I'm surrounded with is like, just let the smarter people handle it, and I'll just stand there and support him along the way. So he's done an amazing job. But I want to just say that a lot of people are doing that, and man, I like it when people feel comfortable being able to push for things, especially when the players want it, and I think it's an exciting thing. And he was able to look at different things that we've done in the past. As far I know that everyone's getting crazy about the uniforms. Trust me, I'm getting a lot of people stopping me in supermarkets and stuff and asking me about all these different color variety. At least we don't have the Miami Heat pink flamingo stuff, so we'll be okay. Nothing against the Heat. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that, but I mean, I think people are thinking that we're going crazy with it. We're not. We're going to do what's right, but I think it's all appealing for the players. They all feel like they're included into the decision-making process. And if a team decides that they want to wear this certain uniform in the game, how do you think they're going to approach the field? I think they feel that they're involved in it. I think it's something that can allow them to play at their best. And I said it earlier, I want our guys to play at their best at all times.
Bonnie, do you envision having a spring game this year?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, we'll see. The hard part about that is that who has it, Jay?
Yeah.
Yeah, the hard part about that, Jay, is that the always looking at the numbers. So the hard part right now, we're looking at trying to get position battles, letting the people figure out who the best player is at each spot. Is you want to play 11-on-11 football. Well, there's a risk at playing 11-on-11 football, especially when you go live, and that puts. I mean, you have to just decide what's worth the risk, what injuries and what you're willing to do, who you're willing to have on the field, and so I think you have to be really deliberate when you're trying to figure out a plan to get our guys to play football. And so looking at the spring game, it all depends on what we have towards the end. If we have a healthy team that we can play a good amount of 11-on-11 football, or if we've probably pushed the limits a little bit too hard early, and that's That's what it comes down to. I want to figure out who the best are, and we have a lot of guys that want to play 11-on-11 football. And like I said, I don't know how you choose a quarterback if you don't put him in a position where it's 11-on-11. We're not going to just choose a guy that can just throw the ball. You're looking at all the little things that you don't gauge it on, and I'm not going to be out there looking at one-on-one completion percentage and things like that. You have to look at the way they lead the team, the way they are able to move the football up and down the field, punching it into the end zone, how they react to being backed up, how they react to a 3rd and long situation. All that happens, and it's hard to do if you're doing it just in Skelly, you know. I think we have to be able to have a pass rush, pressure the quarterback, and when you do all that stuff, you're taking a risk. And so right now we have to be calculated in how much risk we want to take and how much we want to put our guys in a position that where injuries may occur. But that's football too.
Okay, we'll take the last 2 questions from Mitch and Jared.
Yeah, Kalani, with the pandemic ongoing, does the NCAA require you guys to still test the players during spring football, or is it more just temperature checks? How does that all work?
Yeah, we've taken we follow the lead of our sports medicine department, whatever they tell us to do. Our guys have been testing, our staff, we test. And so I imagine that when we're going to be in spring ball, we're just going to continue to do what we can to stay safe and keep testing and doing whatever we can to minimize the spread. And that's part of football right now until we can get the numbers down.
Kalani, you've lost some key leaders, of course, in Zach and Isaiah, and mentioned Zane and Troy. And who do you see emerging as the leaders on this team? And then I also wanted to just get a quick thought about the new coaches that have come in.
Yeah, I mean, I think the leaders will sort themselves out. There's a lot of guys that are returning that are being great leaders for us. All those quarterbacks are leaders, and it's been nice to see Tyler Algier and Lopini Katoa be leaders for us. I mean, Lopini was voted a captain last year, but I don't think the whole captain thing, if I could have, I would have named 30 captains last year. And so a lot of those guys return, and they've taken off. Obviously something's working because those guys they're high demanding of each other, and we're seeing a lot of really good results in the weight room right now, and they're looking really good. So I can't wait to get to Monday, and we'll see how they perform with the pads on after a couple weeks of the transition period with just helmets. So yeah, the leadership I think is going to be fine. And the new coaches, I like what they're doing. So Kevin Clune's been here for a year now. He's been here working with us, and it's an easy transition for him. Funk is doing a great job with the O-line. Tons of experience, and they're already on top of it. Daryl's already learned the offense, so he learned the offense before he showed up here in Provo. He and A-Rod spent a lot of time on Zoom calls and watching film together, and so when he got here, he knows our terminology, and so it's an easy fix for him to be in there and to run the show with the O-line. So I think we're going to be just fine. I'd like to see them get out there and coach ball. Right now we've done some meetings and we've done some walkthroughs, and so far it's going really well. And we'll see what happens when we get the football on the field. I'm excited for it.